Hello and welcome back to the France 24 newsroom. It's time now for all today's business news with William Edwards, who joins me now. Hello, William.
Hi, Lorna.
So we were just talking about the Olympics today, and it's perhaps appropriate because of all this sport around that we've got a sports story in the business bulletin as well. Tell us more.
Yeah, we're going to kick off with Manchester United, of course, one of the most famous football teams in the world. It's launching later today on the New York Stock Exchange, raising money by floating there. It used to be listed in London, actually, before trading in most football stocks ended around the time at the end of the dot-com boom around 2001. It was bought up by the Glazer family in 2005. They loaded it with debt. Now they're trying to raise more money, partly to pay off some of that debt. It's expected to sell for $14 a share. That's the guide price. It's lower than expected, but with relatively weak results on the pitch recently, and of course those high debt levels, some analysts think that that price might still be too high.
The team's thrilled fans the world over. Now Manchester United are hoping to woo Wall Street's investors too. On Friday, the club's set to issue just under 17 million shares on the New York Stock Exchange. It's an initial public offering of two halves. Majority shareholders, the Glazer family, will pocket half of the proceeds. Managers say they'll use the rest to pay down the debt they took on after the American family's 2005 buyout. Despite United's worldwide following, analysts say the stock's price tag looks overly ambitious.
When you're buying a business, you're buying a management team, and you're asking yourself whether you want to be in business with the likes of the Glazers. Again, it looks very pricey. There's better investments out there.
Most of the club's revenue comes from television and ticket sales. Slow growth sectors, experts say, especially as United face stiff competition on the pitch from rivals around the world.
A club that was built on its success is hardly a business without it. And if we can't compete with the likes of Manchester City, where's the upside in the company?
Analysts aren't the only sceptics. Many of United's fans have long contested the Glazers' ownership. They've now sent over 1 million messages opposing the IPO to the club's banks and sponsors.
So, William, how are the markets opening up here in Europe, talking of the stock markets?
Things are broadly down at the moment. That is due partly to worries from, which we've seen in the Asian trading session as well. Let's just take a look at how things are going on the European markets. They are in the red across the board there, as you can see, quite firmly. Data from China has come out in the previous session in Asia, if we take a look at the Asian markets as well, which says that the trade deficit there is down, but that's only because imports and exports have both seen a slowdown in growth, so that has spooked the markets. Another piece of data showing that perhaps the Chinese boom may well be coming to an end. The Kospi there is slightly bucking the trend. That's been helped by Hyundai and shares in LG as well, which are both around up by 2.5% each.
Okay, well, one stock that's also got a bit of a lift in the US trading is Goldman Sachs. So why is that?
Well, that's because the US Department of Justice says it is dropping any chance of an investigation of charges against Goldman Sachs for their role in the subprime mortgage crisis. One deal in particular, which Goldman Sachs did around 2006 or so, called Abacus, was apparently designed to fail. It was basically selling this group of subprime mortgage, a financial instrument made up of subprime mortgage deals, known as a CDO. It was selling that on to clients, knowing that it was going to fail, basically betting against one of its own products. However, the US regulators say that that is not illegal as far as they can tell. They're not going to press charges against Goldman Sachs.
Okay, well, we're going to move to here in France now, because President Hollande has got some good news in his bid to bring the country's finances back under control.
Certainly good news as far as he's concerned. It's going to make his life easier. A ruling from the Constitutional Court has made it easier for him to implement one of his key election promises. That is the golden rule, the règle d'or, as it's called here. Something suggested by Nicolas Sarkozy. You can see there, it means you've basically got to balance the budget by law, keep it within less than 0.5% of GDP of balanced. So currently it's around 2%. So he's really got to work hard to cut that. But the worry for him was that he was going to have to make it part of the Constitution. That would have required a lot of votes, a lot more votes in Parliament, and could have renewed splits in his own party over Europe, over the budget. So he's not going to have to do that now. That will make life easier for Hollande, and it looks like this will go through now much more easily.
Okay, thanks very much indeed, William Edwards, for that look at today's business headlines. That's all from us for now. Many thanks for tuning in, and do stay with us here on France 24 for more news headlines in just a moment. Bye for now.